Hey everyone, so this is a video that I wanted to do where I wanted to test a hypothesis that I have that S-Video is the best bang for your buck analog connection that you can use for older video game consoles, or I guess any other standard definition media type. But yeah, I've considered for a while now that it's the best bang for your buck because it offers the most amount of quality improvement over composite, as well as it's pretty widely available for older consoles and also older TVs. So let's test my hypothesis. So this is a Sony CRT from 1996. Turn off the light there. So let's fix the camera so it actually looks decent. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is running through S-Video right now, and I think it looks awesome. Like, it looks very sharp, like, really no complaints. There's like some stuff like in the corners. You saw the review of this TV that I did. Kind of go into more of that, but that's typical. A lot of times on these CRTs, they're not as clear in the corners. But yeah, as far as like the actual graphics go though, especially like looking here in the center, like it just looks so much cleaner on composite compared to, S-Video compared to composite. So I also have this hooked up to the composite input, so let's go ahead and switch to that and just see if we notice any differences. Alright. So yeah, I can already notice a difference. It's like, for example, this fence is a lot blurrier. I'm also seeing like some noise down here where the grass meets the path. And there's actually some other scenes in this game where I think it's even more pronounced. But let's just kind of zoom up on this fence. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Lakitu. Also, actually, I don't want Lakitu to zoom up because I want it to be farther away. So yeah, now let's go ahead. Oh, and by the way, sound is S-Video, no sound is composite. That's how you can tell the difference. So let's go back to S-Video. Yeah, and you see like the grass line just really cleaned up, the fence cleaned up quite a bit. Let's go back to composite. So yeah, you can see, and even like around Mario, like there's just like a lot of noise and like just like white dots everywhere. See, in the S-Video that just kind of all like cleans up. So yeah. And again, this could vary depending on your TV that you have. Yeah, I mean, if you have a TV with a really good comb filter, like I'll show you in just a second, like the JVC D series, for example, that has such a good comb filter that I can barely, like, if at all, tell the difference between composite and S-Video. Look, Goomba, if you don't attack me, I won't attack you. How about that? So anyway, let's look at this scene, for example. This is where I really noticed it for some reason in this level. Yeah, let's go back to composite now. So actually, I won't tell you anything. Just see if you notice a difference. So let's go to composite. Okay, so there's composite. Do you notice anything? Okay, let's go back to S-Video. Okay, did you notice anything? Yeah, I guess it's okay if you fall asleep, Mario. Right, let's go back to composite. Alright. I'm going to tell you the answer. So, see these, again, it's these dots, the details. Like it's really, you really notice it where there's a contrast in like the colors, which I guess makes sense because where the colors are, where there's a contrast. I mean, S-Video divides the color signal from the contrast or the luma, so the light, it divides the light and the dark signal from the color signal, so it makes sense that that's where you see the most noise in composite video because it just combines all that and meshes it up. Whereas S-Video, it's all distinct and very nice. And S-video is technically a form of component, by the way, because it divides those two signals. And then the actual YAPBPR, whatever the acronym is for component, we usually think of component. That then takes the color signal and also divides it. And so, yeah. So anyway, just wanted to show you that on this TV. Now let's go on to I'll show you what it looks like on the JVC-D series. Hey, so before we go on to the JVC-D series, I actually forgot. We need to talk about this. RF. Yes, my friend. RF. Yeah, this is actually the worst connection. Kind of glossed over because I, like, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, yeah, everyone knows to skip this, but just in case this is all you have, yeah, I mean, Composite is an upgrade over this. It's not a great upgrade, to tell you the truth. This actually doesn't look terrible compared to Composite. I'll actually show you that on this Sony TV real quick before we switch to the JVC-D series. But yeah, just regular RF signal going into your TV like analog video. So yeah, just switch this to channel 3 and plug it into the back of the TV. Oh, and just for reference, this is what a S-video cable looks like, in case you didn't know. So yeah, you want to look for one of these DIN type connectors. That's what I think they would call it, probably a 4-DIN connector. It's probably another name, but yeah, just S-video is, yeah, what everyone knows it by. But yeah, for a video anyway. Yeah, and then that's what Composite looks like, in case you didn't know. The yellow cable. These two are for audio. That's for video. And then RF is a step down because it not only does it combine the color and the luma signal, but it also takes the audio, combines that as well, and it all goes through this little cable, this little copper cable. So yeah, there's just a lot of room for messy signals in one of these RF cables. So anyway, let's go ahead and do that comparison. Alright, so here's Composite. So yeah, it doesn't look terrible, especially if you hadn't already compared it to S-video. You know, maybe you might not even notice the difference, but where you have seen S-video before, then it's pretty obvious. But anyway, let's go ahead and compare this to RF. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pause the video and then unplug the Composite cable from the 64 and plug in the RF. So hold on one second. Alright, so I unplugged the Composite, and now here's RF. I mean, to me it looks the same. Yeah, I really don't, I can't tell the difference between Composite and RF. Like, you still see the interference in the colors. I mean, maybe this TV just is awesome with RF, I don't know. You know, maybe a little different on your TV, but I mean, I have an old Sony TV from 1978, and that one only has twin lead connectors. So, I mean, about as RF as you can get, right? I mean, you have to have a 75 ohm adapter to even plug anything into it. I mean, anything useful nowadays, I should say. Yeah, I mean, in a way, actually, maybe even RF is even better than Composite, because maybe it's a slightly softer, so it actually is like some of the artifacts, like I'm noticing on the hills, like Mario's hat and stuff, like looks a little softer, like maybe not as well defined, but actually like on the hills and stuff, I'm not noticing as much interference, maybe because some of that interference is just kind of blending into everything. So maybe it's a little blurrier image, but it's also kind of good because then it kind of hides some of the flaws of combining the luma and the chroma signals, you know, the brightness and darkness and color signals. So anyway, let's just leave Mario sleeping here and switch back to Composite. Oh, okay, no, actually, now that it's kind of zooming up, I am noticing something I wasn't seeing as much on Composite. It actually went away. So I guess that is something, though, because RF, of course, you know, can be influenced by other things. I haven't actually tested this, but like, for example, if you turn on your microwave or something by your RF TV, then maybe that could influence it, possibly. But I'm noticing like some interference here. Like if you look really closely, you can see a little bit of like static in the tree a little bit. Like I'm pretty close to the TV right now. You can kind of see it there. So let's see if that goes away with Composite. Let me switch the connection real quick. All right, so here's Composite again. So yeah, the fuzziness went away. It does look more well-defined. Yeah. So I guess in a way, yeah, I guess Composite, I guess it is an upgrade over RF. But really, I mean, unless you're like right next to the TV like I am, you really don't notice that much of a difference. And actually, if anything, something that like the first thing I noticed was that like you actually see more of the imperfections now. So let's switch back over to RF one more time. And let's just pay really close attention to like all these little white dots along the path and along the edge of the hill. So hold on one second. Okay, so here's RF again. So yeah, they're still there. I actually feel like the camera's picking them up more than you see in real life, but yeah, the screen is just like more soft right now, and it's more fuzzy. But yeah, seen far away, it actually doesn't look as bad as when it's close up. And so basically, I'm trying to tell you what I'm seeing in real life and not just what you're seeing on the camera. But basically, like when I'm sitting like, I'm probably like 3 feet away from the TV, which is still really close. But at least I'm not like, 5 inches away. But yeah, I mean, RF right now, seeing 3 feet away from the TV, to me it looks the same as Composite. Especially when I'm not like stopped and like looking at like the foliage on a tree, like you really don't see like the static or anything. Like it might as well be Composite right now. Yeah. Now, I'm trying to think if there's any other benefits to... Oh, you know what? I guess one thing that Composite might have over RF is that I don't know if you can do stereo with RF, with an RF connection. I'm not entirely sure about that. I guess that could be one thing that's not really related to video, but related to sound that could be an upgrade. So if you have the option of Composite or RF, you might want to go with Composite because then you can get stereo sound. But let me look that up real quick. Hold on. All right, so after a quick internet search, I couldn't really find any information on if RF, like from the 64, will output stereo. And so that kind of tells me that it does, because if no one's really asking about it, then it probably just does, because otherwise people would be like, hey, why isn't this outputting stereo, and then it'd be like a big issue. So I'm going to say that RF probably does do stereo, which then means that kind of in a way RF is an improvement over Composite, because then you only have one cable to worry about. I'm just saying, and plus you can hook it into almost any TV. So yeah, I guess there is that. Now, to kind of test this though, I do have kind of an unscientific way of testing it. So I have the chain chomp over here. So what I'm going to do is actually, you know what? Let me reset. Hold on. I'll reset while I'm explaining what I'm going to do. So make sure I'm in stereo sound first. So what I'm going to do, by the way, when the screen's all black, I do see more like interference from the RF, which you don't see in Composite. Okay, so we are in stereo. Good. So yeah, I mean, I guess if the fuzzy stuff on black screens really bugs you, then yeah, maybe go with Composite. But anyway, sorry, I didn't think that I would have to like convince so much that Composite and RF are basically the same. But yeah, anyway, I said where we are. So anyway, well, it's kind of scientific, I guess, but my way to test to see if we have stereo sound is I'm going to go by this chain chomp, and I'm going to have him be on my right side, and then that should supposedly then come out of the right speaker almost exclusively. It might come out of the left a little bit, but basically it should be mostly from the right side. So yeah, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the menu here on the TV. So I'm going to turn on the light so I can see this. Let's see here. And then I'm just going to like turn down the right speaker, and then if the chain chomp gets like significantly quieter, then I know that there is stereo sound. Alright, so anyway, let's see here. So let's go to, oh, and I don't want Mario to fall asleep, because then the rest of the sound gets quieter. Alright, so let's go to balance, and let's turn it all the way to the left. Alright. Is this coming through, by the way? I'm going to turn this up a little bit so you can hear it better. Alright, so that is all the way to the left. Now let's turn it all the way to the right and see if the chain chomp gets louder. Yeah, I'd say he's getting louder. Let's turn it all the way to the left again. Yeah, I mean, you still hear it out of the left speaker. Let's try to move it even farther away. Alright. So now let's do it to the right. Like I can't tell if it's because I know the chain chomp is over there or because I can actually hear it out of the right speaker, but I do seem to hear it like louder out of the right speaker. So I'm going to go with that. Yes, RF is stereo. And if someone knows better, please let me know. I'd love to be corrected if I'm wrong. So anyway, basically, if you have the choice between RF or composite, maybe go with composite, maybe go with RF. They kind of have both their pros and cons, where RF is kind of like a little softer, and so maybe it hides some of the flaws of composite, whereas composite is sharper, and so then you also like see those flaws where you then like even more you wish you had S-video. So I don't know, it's kind of sixes really, but anyway, basically the point is that still, if you have S-video, yeah, definitely go with that over a composite or RF. So anyway, and now actually before we go on to the JVC-D series, actually let's go to this Sony PVM here, because on here, if I remember correctly, there actually is a setting where you can turn off the comb filter, so then we can see what the comb filter looks like on and off on composite before we go to the JVC-D series, which has an excellent comb filter. Okay, so yeah, so here's this little 13-inch PVM. Here's the degosser there. No sync. Why is there no sync? Why is it saying no sync? Oh, wait. No? Oh, I know why. Because I still have the RF cable plugged in. Haha. 1 second. Plug in the composite cable that's now plugged into this. Here we go. PVM. There you go. NTSC. Yeah. Wow. Boy, I tell you what, never used composite on a... Oh, sorry, those lines are not seen in real life. Okay, hold on, let me turn off the light. This is actually kind of crazy how bad this looks. Okay. Alright, this is why you should never use a composite on a PVM. Man, boy. So the PVM is so sharp that, man, like, so where the other TV was taking composite and like showing all of its dirty flaws, like the PVM takes composite and shows the flaws to like a whole other level. Holy cow. Like, this looks so bad right now. And this is like, you know, this is a standard definition PVM. Like, you know, just this is analog 240p. Like, it is 240p. You can see the black lines in between the scan lines. Maybe you can't tell on the camera, but I can see it in real life. So, I mean, this is 240p. Not being, you know, upscaled or anything. But yeah, just like, holy cow, this looks so bad. Like, I would almost prefer to play this on a modern digital TV than this. Like there's just like this really ugly, like the lines that were around Mario before, like the little dots and stuff, are just like this PVM is so sharp that it is like really emphasizing all of the flaws of composite. Dude, remember what I told you? You don't touch me, I don't touch you. It's mutual respect. Okay, I was just standing there doing nothing. Alright, anyway. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, now anyway, now let me turn on the, let's see if there's actually like a, the notch filter, or not notch filter, the comb must be off right now because this just looks really bad. So let's see if we can figure out how to turn on the comb. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure that there was a comb function on this PVM, but maybe I'm remembering wrong. Chroma. I don't really want to change that. Maybe there's not. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. So yeah, don't use composite on a PVM. Color select, perhaps? Oh, here we go. Okay, let's go to NTSC comb. Okay, so here's NTSC. Oh wow, the comb filter was on. So that was auto, I assume. Unless it was this. No, that's not. PAL, definitely not PAL. CCAM, whatever that is. So yeah, I think the auto actually turns on the comb filter. Yeah, because I'm not seeing a difference. But then when I just go to regular NTSC, that actually smooths it out more than the comb filter. Wow. So holy cow, look at that. So that was not the that was not the results I was expecting to see on this. I thought the comb filter was going to make it look better. What is going on? Oh, sorry, let me turn off this flash. Okay, so, wow, this is crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, guys. So, here's with the comb filter off. And then here's with the comb filter on. Like, it looks so bad. Like, I'm going to leave the comb filter off on this PVM. Looks like so much better. Wow, look at that. Like the line here, like there's not supposed to be like a white line between the heel and like the dirt behind the heel. It's so bad. But then when when you turn that off, it actually looks like kind of almost the same as what it looked like on that Sony consumer set that I was just testing. Still not great, like still not as good as S-Video, but it's like way better than this. So yeah. Anyway, moral of the story, don't use composite on a PVM, I guess. But if you do, definitely turn off the comb filter. Holy cow. Brother. Maybe it'll depend on what kind of PVM you have. This is one from 2003, so it's a pretty new one, pretty recent one. Now just for kicks, let's plug in S-Video to this PVM. Alright folks, and here you have S-Video running on this PVM. Now that is what I call a crisp image. I would say maybe it's a little bit too crisp. But yeah, definitely, wow, yeah, the colors really pop out too. Look at that. Boy, I think I have to change the ISO on this PVM. Turn it down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that is very nice. Yeah, I see that hill back there. Looks very, very well defined. So now let's go ahead and switch to Composite just for comparison. So yeah, here's Composite. This must have the notch filter on since I did a factory reset. But yeah, it just looks really bad. You can see that really white line there compared to S-Video. So anyway, now let's finally go on to the JVC D series, I guess. Alright, and here's my JVC D series from, I think, like 2003 or something like that, 2004. It's one of the later ones. Turn that on. Alright, and I actually don't remember what input. No, this would be S-Video because the sound's playing. I plugged in the sound to S-Video. Alright. Now, this TV is pretty awesome. So right now you can see right off the bat, it looks good. Just about as good as the Sony CRT. I'd actually say it looks better. The colors really pop out of this screen. To tell you the truth, I think this actually looks better than the PVM too. Yeah, and this is a 32-inch screen as well. So yeah, nice and big. And it's not like, it is heavy, but like I was able to manhandle it down here to the basement, so it wasn't like terrible. Let me change the ISO so we can actually see the correct colors. Still isn't correct, but oh well, whatever. Actually, I think it looked better on 100. Alright, yeah, it's not perfect. It looks better in real life, like Mario's pants don't look sky blue. But anyway, let's switch to Composite now. Alright, so here's Composite. So yeah, see, man, I'm telling you, this TV is like a champ. It is a champ. Like, I don't know if it's the comb filter. I assume it's the comb filter, but apparently sometimes the comb filter makes the image worse on Composite, as we saw in the PVM. But man, I don't know. Like there are like no like stray lines, like on that heel that we were looking at before. Remember on the Sony CRTs there was like really bad like artifacts there. On here it looks perfect. Like, so here's S-Video again with the sound, right? Yeah, going to Composite, it looks almost identical. I'd say it's a hair sharper on S-Video, but really just goes to show that if you have a high quality TV, like, there really is hardly any difference. I'm trying to like notice a difference to like still like prove my original hypothesis that S-Video is like so much better than Composite, but like I'm really having a hard time telling the difference. Okay, I think I found something that's like very minor that you probably would never notice in actual gameplay. I'm thinking that there's like a little bit more noise in Composite, like in the distance. Let me just double check. Whoops, that was too far. Yes, there is. Okay, good. Yes, I can still diss on Composite and feel good about myself. Alright, let's see if I can make it over here without like tripping over the cord and unplugging the 64. I really need to clean up this room. Alright, there we go. Okay, right here. This is where I'm noticing the difference on this TV. So this is Composite. Let's go back to S-Video. Whoops, that's not the right button. Oh, great. I put on the timer. Alright, so now you can see that's a lot more well-defined right here. Yeah. Let's go to Composite. See there? and those lines in between there. So there you go. Even on this master of a TV, the JVC D series, it's S-Video, or Composite still isn't as good as S-Video. But you do have to admittedly get pretty close to the screen to tell the difference, so. Yeah. Anyway. But now I think hopefully I've convinced you that S-Video is better than Composite, and like very much like for most TVs it's like leaps and bounds better, right? And it's also better than RF. Now what I want to show you is the difference between S-Video and Component. And I'm actually curious about this myself because I have not tested this very much. So let's go ahead. This JVC D series has a component input on the back. So let's move over to the Wii and let's test some component and S-Video on this. Alright, so actually I decided to hook up two GameCubes instead of the Wii, just because then I can just switch inputs on the TV instead of like switching cables on the Wii, because that's kind of annoying. So what I'm going to do is on this GameCube I'm going to use this Eon HDMI/component adapter, and then I have a Wii component cable coming out of it, and it's a Monster cable. Monster Wii component cable, so very high quality, and this adapter is also like identical, if not even some people say even a little better than the official Nintendo GameCube component cables, which are super expensive and hard to get, so I feel pretty confident about this setup. And then from this other GameCube I have an official Nintendo S-Video cable coming out of it. And so, if anything, the component has a bit of an advantage because these are like very heavily shielded like to resist a nuclear blast, basically. These Monster cables, whereas these are just, I mean, the Nintendo cables are still shielded, but they're just not as thick as the Monster cables. So anyway, yeah, that's going to be my setup. And then what I was thinking of doing is I have two versions of Ocarina of Time. So I have Master Quest in the S-Video GameCube, the Master Quest disc, and then I have the Zelda Collector's Edition disc in the Component Video GameCube. And then I'll just be going into Ocarina of Time on both GameCubes. So exact same game. And yeah, we'll just kind of do some comparisons between Component and S-Video. So yeah, I'm going to get that set up and try to... yeah, I'm going to do this without trying to do it one-handed because otherwise I'm going to break stuff, so hold on. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn on the GameCube here. And then I'm actually going to go into this screen here because I thought we might as well just compare this text. So this is S-Video. Wow, looks like just like a black floating box in the middle of the room. That's kind of cool. Alright, so yeah, let's look at this. What should we look at? Let's look at the options, I guess. Kind of look at the green thing that's going around there. Green box. Alright, there we go. Okay, so this is S-Video. Alright, now let's switch over to Component. Let's see here. Here we go. B2 Component in, and then you have to change this to yes. Whoops. Yes. So they'll let us read Component instead of Composite. Alright, so now if we change inputs. Oh! I think that this is in 480p, perhaps. Bummer. Wow. Okay. Pause the video and see if I can figure out how to get the Xeon adapter to go to 480i. Alright, so I opened up my little GameCube that the Eon adapter came in. And I found these instructions. Oops. Yeah. And on here it says you can pair the Wii U gamepad to work with the Eon adapter, the IR sensor in the TV mode. So I'm going to try this out. Let's try, I already set it to US Type 1. So let's go ahead and push this TV button to turn on the Wii U gamepad TV. Alright, so let's see what we got here. So it says 480i settings, so it does think we're in 480i apparently. But, alright, so scan line profile off. Line doubler, maybe that's what it is. We want this off, perhaps. How do you change it? Oh, there we go. Fixed it! So the line doubler was on, so that's what was creating the issue. So as you can see on the bottom here, it says in is 666 by 448 and out is 720 by 480. Fixed resolution. You might want to turn this off actually, because I'm kind of curious if we turn fixed resolution off, will that then give us the same in as out? Yep, that did. So now you can see we have in is 666 by 448 and out is 666 by 448. So great. So now we have, I think this is configured to be a pretty fair comparison to S-Video. Great. Now I'm just kind of curious, what is this chroma interpolation? Should we turn this off? I'm going to look up on the internet to see what this is, because I'm not sure what it is. Alright, so I looked up the definition for interpolation, because I couldn't find anything exactly on color interpolation on the this Eon thing. And what I found is that interpolation is actually like, it will add stuff. So like, yeah, it will basically like try to add colors, is from what I can tell. So I'm just going to turn this off, just so we have the regular colors. Oh, good, you can use the D-pad for up and down. Oh, I'm so glad. We should have known that before. I wonder if the A button is also like enter. No, it's not. Okay, that's fine. I'm not close enough. Okay, this is kind of weird. Using this gamepad as a controller for this thing for the IR sensor is kind of weird. All right, that's okay. All right, so anyway, I think we should be good now, though. Let's see here. Yes, because we don't need any of the special, like that fixed resolution thing. That would probably be really useful on a digital TV. But yeah, we're not on a digital TV, so yeah. The analog is a lot more forgiving on weird resolutions. So yeah, we'll just have the original resolution coming out of the GameCube. All right. Okay, I think we're finally ready to get this ready to do this comparison. Who would have thought that we would have needed the Wii U gamepad to get this working, right? All right, I don't want this. Why is it trying to turn on my Wii U? All right, I'm just going to leave this alone. Hopefully it goes away. Yep, we have in, out, the same resolution, have chroma interpolation turned off. So, this should be a pretty good test now. Okay, stay Wii U gamepad. Don't fall. Alright, okay, finally, so let's, okay, so this is component. So now, let's turn on the S-Video GameCube. Down found the A button there. Okay, now it should be on that screen. So now let's go and find where it is. There it is. Okay, so S video is on input 1, video 1. Let's see here, hold on. Okay, so here is S video. Alright, so right off the top, right off the bat, I don't really see a difference, but let's go back to component. Okay, yeah, so actually it looks like component is a slightly clearer, I would say. Like I'm looking specifically at where it says gameplay. Let's go back over to S video. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'll give it to component. It is slightly clear, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the colors look better too. Yeah. Yeah. So if you have the option between component or S video, then yeah, I would go with component for sure. But it's not a night and day difference like composite and component was, or composite and S video. Yeah, not even close. But there is still an upgrade. I think there still is an upgrade here. Yeah, there is an upgrade. Alright, so yeah, so component does look better, at least on this menu. Let's go ahead and go into a game. So this is on component again. I like how it tells you the resolution. Of course we want to use the rumble feature. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, see, I like that. Yeah, look at that. So now that we're doing the original resolutions, it actually changes resolutions on the fly instead of changing everything to 480, whatever. 720 by 480 or whatever it is. Yeah, let's just kind of look at this opening. Wow, this is a really nice TV. Granted, this isn't in 240p right now. This is being upscaled to 480i, which is fine. Nice. Okay, so now let's go and watch that first little part on the S video. Okay, so here we are in S video. Let's say yes, can continue anyways. Alright, yeah, it still looks pretty nice. Yeah. I will say it doesn't quite have that wow factor that component had. I don't know, when I was just watching that component, I wasn't expecting this, but the component just kind of had a wow factor to it. But I mean, it still looks really nice. Like, you know, really nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the menu. Just kind of look at this menu for a second here. Alright, so this is S video, so now let's go to component. Should be on the menu because I pushed the start button. Yep. Yeah, the component looks better, not gonna lie. Now, I guess one thing that I probably should have checked before, because I know sometimes these TVs will have different video settings depending on which input you're on, so it would be worth it to see what... Oh yeah, we're on standard on component. Color temperature high, I guess that's probably okay, just as long as we're the same as S video. Okay, so let's change the input to S video and see if it's the same settings. Alright, yeah, it's the exact same settings, so yeah, we should be good as far as that goes. Yeah, so yeah, component's just yeah, component definitely has better colors. Yeah, I must say. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it just kind of pops out of the screen more, but again, it's not as pronounced as S video or composite to S video was. Yeah, stereo. Oh, put that on hold for sure. Oh, hey, here's something interesting we can look at. Let's look at this check brightness. screen. Let's go back to this video. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, the brightness looks good. Yeah, the component's just is just a little bit clearer, I must say. But it's pretty close. Pretty close. Here's this video again. Yeah, it just is a little bit brighter on component. Colors pop out just a little bit more, but it's not night and day. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter on component. Let's see. So this is S video. Let's maybe switch back and forth between the with the opening. All right. So I'm going to get this ready on both. This should be the exact same speed. Okay, so if I push A on both of these at the same time, then it'll be like a Zelda verse and they'll start at the same time. So here's component. Oh, this is something I want to look at, these hearts. Oops. Yeah, they're just a little bit brighter on component, yeah. Okay, so this is S video, so let's push A on both at the same time. Just like a Zelda verse. Alright, so this is S video. Let's switch to component. Text looks about the same. Here's S video again. Remember, S video is video 1. Alright, component. Yeah, and here it looks about the same in the actual game. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter, I guess, in component. S video again. Let's go back to component. Wow, yeah, on here it looks better on component. You know, as a kid, I always really wanted to play this game in component. It was my dream to have a CRT with component inputs. It's funny, I finally got one. This is an excellent TV, though. I'm really impressed. Let's kind of look at this. So this is component, I believe. Oh no, that was S video. Here's component. Alright, so here is component. Let's go to S video. Yeah, just a little bit muted on the colors. And again, it could be due to the Eon adapter. I'm not going to rule that out completely, but I mean, component is, I mean, they wouldn't have created component if it wasn't better than S video, so, I mean, yeah, I think there is merit to the idea that component is better. But again, it's not night and day. Let's go back to S video on this screen. Oops. Go. Yeah, it's almost the same. Well, let's kind of get past this story stuff. Just kind of switch back and forth while I'm pushing A on both of them. Here's this video again. Component. This video. Component. Alright, this is the part where we pushed it at the same time. Here's S video. component. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so if I were playing on this TV, I would definitely choose component over S-Video. But again, it's not night and day, like I was saying. So, yeah. It's just very bright, very inviting on component. Yeah, the colors just pop out more. So really it's the colors, it's not so much the clarity. Like as far as like the clarity of the text, it looks almost the same. Yeah, it's really just the colors, which makes sense. The advantage of why PBPR over S-Video is that it separates the color information as well. So it's not just the luma and the chroma, but it separates the chroma signals. So yeah, so it makes sense that the colors look better on component. Oh, I forgot to push A on that controller. Here, let's go out and look at Saudia. This is S-Video. There's component again. Okay, let's take this one out. Oh, this is hard playing upside down with one hand. Feels like I'm playing this game for the first time again. Okay, so this is component. Alright, there's Sardia. That looks very nice. Let's go back to S-Video. Run out here. Yeah, so it definitely doesn't look bad, but, you know, again, it's only the comparison. Yeah. Wow, look at those eyes. Look at those blue eyes. They really, really stand out. Oh, this thing was off. Sorry. I hope that wasn't messing up too much. My frame rate was off, so it was kind of showing black lines where they shouldn't have been. But yeah, so here's component, and then here's S-Video. So yeah, the colors just look better in component. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, clarity looks about the same, so yeah. Let's even do some close-ups while we're here with a smiling face. So yeah, so here's component, and then let's switch to S-Video. Oops, there we go. Yeah, it's really just the color information that's different. Yeah. So anyway, this is component again. So I'm still. This investigation has taken an interesting turn. So I'm still thinking that I would like S-Video. Still, I'm still thinking that the biggest change is composite to S-Video, not so much S-Video to component. I mean, composite just looked downright like bad, you know, especially on the other TVs. On this TV, it actually looks pretty good still, but like on the Sony PVM and the Sony consumer TV, especially on the PVM, man, composite looked just really bad compared to S-Video. So and then RF was about the same as composite. So anyway, yeah, let's thinking now. Let's go over to the older PVM that I have, since we haven't tested that one yet. It's a 27-inch, and let's test S-Video versus RGB. That would be interesting, because out of actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's let's do all the, like, just the 15 kilohertz signals first, and then after that maybe we'll go back to the GameCube. And because one thing that the component does have over S-Video that is definitely an advantage is it can do progressive resolutions. So in the GameCube's case, 480p, which is, yeah, definitely an improvement. So we can test that compared to this regular S-Video on the HD CRT that I have. But for now, let's just keep to the 15 kilohertz, and let's go and test. We'll do it on the Super Nintendo, and we'll test S-Video versus RGB. Okay, so here is this PVM I have my Super Nintendo hooked up to. So we'll test some games on it, and I'll just kind of show you what connections I have back here. So this is an RGB cable. It's a RGB SCART cable coming out of the Super Nintendo, and then it's hooked into this adapter that's specifically for this PVM, because it has a special I think it's just called a computer inputter. Yeah, computer. Yeah, so anyway, converts the SCART to that special computer input. And I think this PVM is from 1987, if I remember correctly. I'm not seeing the year on here, but yeah, it was. It's a PVM 2530. So yeah, this is one of the sought after models, from what I understand. It's cool because it can not only do RGB, but also S-Video. So I have S-Video there as well. And so yes, I'll be using the official Nintendo S-Video cable for this test. This RGB cable is not a Nintendo cable, it's just a, what do you call it? It's just a regular, just a third-party cable, but it looks pretty nice. So yeah, so anyway, let's go ahead and turn on this PVM. Nice degausser. As you can see, it's on computer. Show this while it's turning on. So yeah, so computer, and then line A here. So maybe I'll turn off this light real quick. So I have one light on, one light off. Okay, so yes, let's go ahead and turn on the. Wow, this PVM has really good black levels, by the way. You can barely even tell it's on. Alright, so this is RGB right now. Just kind of watch this opening. So let me see if I can adjust the camera so it shows up a little bit better. There we go. See, that looks really nice. Alright, so now we pause the video and let's see what this looks like with S-Video. Alright, so here we go. This is S-Video. Uh-oh, no picture. Oh, I probably have to switch the back. Hold on. Alright, there we go. I had to kind of wiggle the cable. Yeah, that is one thing that I will say about S-Video. Let's restart this. Yeah, the cable is kind of annoying to plug in for S-Video. So yeah, I mean, it still looks really good on this PVM. I'm gonna say maybe Cranky's face is a little, maybe not quite as clear. Yeah, it looks really similar. That's the tricky thing about this, because I actually do have another Super Nintendo, but the Super Nintendo went through so many different revisions that it's, you know, if you don't have the exact same like model, then it could have different video outputs. So like there's the original Super Nintendos, and then there's also the revision, so like the one chip and then the minis, and those supposedly have better picture, and I'm not sure which one this one is. This is one that I have had for a while, since I was a kid. I assume it's one of the original Super Nintendos. But yeah, I mean, even if you have like a one chip model, so like one of the superior models, even within the one chips, there's differing models. And so, but yeah, anyway, just right on. So yeah, so anyway, so what I was going with that is that even though I have another Super Nintendo, I'm not sure if they're the same model, and so just switching inputs really quick, it may not be a fair comparison, because one Super Nintendo may be outputting a cleaner picture than the other. So yeah, that's why I'm just using one system in this particular case. So anyway, so just like right off the bat, I'm kind of thinking that maybe there's a bit of like maybe a little bit of better colors on with the RGB compared to the S-Video. Let me pause the video again, and let's plug in the RGB cables one more time. Okay, here's the RGB. Yeah, I do think that the RGB maybe looks slightly better. Yeah, it's really hard to tell you the truth, but yeah, I'd say maybe slightly better. Let's go to like a image that isn't moving. Let's see, let's go to like maybe this screen here. Or actually, let's go into the level. Yeah, this is probably pretty good. Be the best character in the game. So yeah, so here is a zoom up for RGB. See, it looks pretty good. It actually looks even better in real life, to tell you the truth. Yeah, now let's pause the video and switch over to S-Video. Okay, so here's S-Video. Yeah, I don't know, they're really close. Yeah, so see, so that's what I'm kind of saying with this, is that, you know, there may be a slight improvement, but really, if you have S-Video, I wouldn't be too concerned about, you know, upgrading to RGB necessarily. Let's go back to RGB one more time. So yeah, the colors I think are maybe a little bit deeper with RGB. Yeah. Another thing to keep in mind too is that S-Video, you can change all this stuff like on the side here, so like the color, brightness. Whereas, and I could be wrong on this, but from what I understand, RGB just already has all that stuff built in, and so you don't really adjust it with RGB. It just kind of is what it is. But yeah, so I would say maybe there's a slight picture quality with RGB. Oh, I don't know if it's the Super Nintendo, if it's the power cable, but yeah, it just kind of turns off sometimes, so I have to like wiggle the power cable. But anyway, yeah, RGB and S video, at least on this PVM, look almost identical. Just like a slight preference towards RGB. I guess something that we could look at is maybe this text up here. So this is RGB right now. Looks pretty clear. So like I'm noticing like on this E, like there's no bleed over into the leaves, for example. Yeah. Same thing with the J. It actually looks even clearer in real life than it does on the camera, but the camera's still doing a pretty decent job. So yeah, let's switch over to S video and see what it looks like. Okay, yeah, so I guess this is something where, yeah, I guess RGB actually does look clearer, like, so you can see the black lines in between the scan lines better in RGB. I hope that's showing up on the camera, but on S video, the black lines just kind of blend together in the words. Whereas on RGB, it was a bit more clear. So I guess there is that. But as far as like bleeding over, I don't really see any bleed over still, so that's good. Whereas if we were running composite right now, it probably would bleed over. So yeah, we already did comparisons with composite, so I won't do that again. But yeah, let's switch over to RGB one more time, and let's just pay close attention to these letters and see if we can see the black lines in between the scan lines. You can see them more on the leaves too, but it's more these letters that we're looking at right now. So this is really like this is very fine, picky. Like you usually wouldn't, pay this close attention. But anyway, let's switch back over to RGB. So yeah, so here's RGB again. It actually looks pretty similar on the camera, on the camera, but yeah, in real life, there is just a little bit more definition there, but not a lot. Yeah, especially, I'm like right next to the screen right now, almost like maybe like 6 inches away from the screen, 7 inches. Yeah, but even like, so this is maybe 2 feet away from the screen, and like even like back this far, I guess you can still see it. Yeah, you can still see like the black lines in between the letters, but yeah, so yeah, RGB, I think that the biggest things is that maybe the colors are slightly better, and just like the overall image is more defined, but it really isn't night and day difference. And it kind of depends on where you're looking on the screen too, because like over here on S video, I was seeing the lines in between the numbers. So like, let's switch back over to S video and look at that one more time. Yeah, so here's S video. I'm not sure if that's showing up on the camera, but yeah, I can still, they're not quite as well defined, but I can still see the black lines in between the scan lines there on the numbers. So yeah, but it's really, really similar. So yeah, let's kind of look at Diddy's face here, I guess. So this is S video. Just one more time, go back to RGB. Okay, here's RGB. So now my camera's doing something weird with the colors. Yeah, I don't know why it's like washing out the colors right now. Let's see, I think, okay, there we go. That's a little better. But yeah, anyway, it's, yeah, almost identical. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I still stand with my original opinion that S video is just about as good as RGB, and as we saw before, also just about as good as Component. Yeah, just the colors are maybe slightly better and just slightly sharper, but it's not nearly as big of a jump as we saw with Composite to S video. So anyway, but now there's one more test, because One thing that like Component does have over S-Video is that it can support higher resolutions. So now let's go back to the GameCube and let's take a look at S-Video versus 480p Component. Okay, so here we have the Sony KD34XPR 960 HD CRT that has Component as well as S-Video on the back. So yeah, let's set up our GameCube with the Component input. So let's go over here and turn on the GameCube. I'm going to hold down the B button on the controller, and that should bring up our 480p screen here in just a second. Yep, there it is. Yes, we do want to do a progressive scan. Alright. There you go, it says 480p up there. Now, I also have my trusty Wii U gamepad here. So, let's go ahead and make sure the settings are set up correctly. Okay, there we go. Alright, so yeah, let's go ahead and check these 480p settings. So first we have the scanline profile, we want that off. Okay, so now I went to output settings. So RGB limited range, see, we're not really doing RGB, we're doing YPBPR. So I guess we could, this shouldn't really make a difference. This Wii U gamepad's driving me nuts. Okay, I'm going to try moving right here. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm not seeing a difference at all when I'm toggling that. So yeah, I think that's probably if you're using HDMI. But yeah, because if you're using HDMI and then like if you're converting to VGA and going into a computer monitor, then you actually want this off. Because you want the full range on a computer monitor, but on a TV you want limited. So I guess I'll put it on off for now, or on. Just doesn't seem like, well, it shouldn't make a difference for YPBPR, you know, regular Component, but just in case. Alright, enhanced DVI mode, yes, we're not really using that either, but I guess we'll turn it off just to be sure. Okay, volume, yeah, we want that to be regular. Okay, and then let's see what's in here. View all modes. Oh, cool. Oh, that's cool. So you can pick the specific resolution. That's interesting. I'll have to look at that later. Let's go to advanced settings. Okay, so we're going to want to turn the chroma interpolation off. Okay. And then fixed resolution turn off. And then regenerate C-Sync. That's only if you're using RGB. Digital color format. Not sure what that is, so we'll just leave it the way it is. And then hack. Basically, I just want to have it so it does the least amount of processing to the picture possible. Okay, so that should be pretty good then for now. So just be sure not to turn this GameCube off. Alright, so this is the Component GameCube. Thank you, Wii U gamepad, for being annoying, but at least working with this thing. Okay, so now let's go over to our S-Video GameCube. Let's see here. Should be on video 1. Alright, turn that on. This one's a lot easier on the setup because, well, there is no setup. Yeah, so I guess that is one benefit of S-Video, kind of. Turn off the light there. So with S-Video, it's just plug and play. Well, I guess if you had the official Nintendo cable, Component cable, it's almost plug and play, besides having to hold down the B button. But yeah, let's go ahead and go into this. So again, this is S video. Let me turn off the light real quick. Okay, there we go. Yes, we do want the rumble feature. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, right off the bat, what I'm noticing is, yeah, it does look really nice here on S video. So this is 480i going into this TV, of course. Yes. Alright, yeah, it looks nice. You know, don't really have any complaints necessarily. It maybe looks a little fuzzy. Of course, this isn't going to be... this would, of course, look better on an SD CRT, since this is an SD signal going into this HD CRT. But again, that's why we're doing this comparison. So now, let's go back over and set up the component. Video 6, I believe. Yeah. Alright. Yep. Nice. It's putting in its weird resolutions to the TV, which, since this is a CRT, it should be able to handle it no problem. Yep. Wow. Yeah, so I can already tell a difference. I don't know how well this is coming up on the TV, but or on the camera, but yeah, the component just looks a lot clearer, a lot crisper. Yeah, everything just looks a lot more well defined. And again, this is a 480p signal, so yeah. Let's switch back over to the S video real quick. Oh, I went to that screen. There we go. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it just isn't nearly as well defined. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can. Well, yeah, it looks a little grainier. It's just not quite as well defined as the component. So yeah, and the colors are a little washed out, a little dark. So yeah, I would... Oh, and actually, before I talk too much... Alright, that's right. This TV actually has different settings depending on which... input you're on. And so I'm just going to put both on Pro mode, just so we have a fair comparison. Accidentally stopped the recording. But yeah, so this is this video. And then, wow, this TV gets really dark. Okay, now let's maybe look at the text real quick here. So yeah, black levels on this TV are excellent, by the way. This is the best HD CRT consumer television that Sony ever made. Alright, let's go back over to the component. Yeah, see, I'm feeling like this is a... Yeah. Well, actually, I guess they were both on Vivid before, so yeah, I guess my my thoughts were still the same. But yeah, let's put them both on Pro. Alright. Yeah, this looks really nice. Yeah, very impressed with the way this looks. Let's go into this screen. Yeah, this isn't really... Let's see if I can make this show up a little bit better. Yeah, this looks really good. The bars down here look really good on this TV. So yeah, let's switch back over to S video and see what it looks like. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a little, just a little darker. Not terrible, but just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it still doesn't look bad, but it's just, yeah, on an HD CRT, definitely the edge goes to component with the 480p. So yeah, so there's that. I guess I could show 480i again, but we already did that comparison on the JVC-D series, so we don't necessarily need to do that again. But yeah, let's I guess let's kind of go into the actual game here. Let's see here. Okay. Oops. This is hard to do with one hand. Okay, so there's that one. Alright, and then let's go back over to the S video. Alright, and then again, like the Zeldaverse, push A at the exact same time. Okay, so again, so this is S video right now. Looks pretty good. Yeah, black levels are really good on this TV. So glad I was able to get this. Let's go back over to Component. So yeah. Now I guess one thing else I could say is that Component is so well defined that it actually is maybe a little too well defined. So you really see like all the jaggies like around Link's boots and stuff. So I guess there is that. Okay, so let's go back over to this video. Yeah, S video just kind of looks a little smoother just because it's not as well defined, so yeah, I guess there is that. Now as far as like a flicker, because you know in theory S video where it's 480i would have a flicker on this TV, but actually this TV is doing a very excellent job of deinterlacing this image. I'm not seeing any flicker at all. Yeah, this is S video. Yeah, it looks very nice. So I mean, I guess your mileage may vary depending on the quality of TV you get or you have. Let's go back over to S video, or I mean Component, RGB. So yeah, this screen looks about the same on both. So yeah, again, this is Component. Yeah, Component just overall looks just more well defined. So like, for example, you can see here on the Great Duke Tree's beard, I guess. Bark beard. So now let's go back over to S video and see what it looks like. Oops, oh, I went too far. Okay, here's Component and S video. I guess you can still see the jaggies on S video, but there's just something about the Component that just looks a little sharper, a little cleaner. Anyway, I'm going to get past this part and we'll go to where the fairy's flying. Okay, so before I push A to start the flying sequence, I did notice something. So yeah, this video just kind of has, I feel like it's maybe even more pronounced on this TV, but there's just like there's just like some fuzziness in the background. I don't know how well this is coming up on the camera, but yeah, it's just, there's just a little bit of fuzziness that moves around. It almost looks like the RF signal we were looking at the beginning of the video. Whereas if we go back to Component, yeah, you don't really see that. It's just a clearer image. Just not as much of the interference. So yeah, I guess there's that on an HD CRT or just an HD TV in general. Yeah, which makes sense. Okay, so we got the two controllers. We'll push it at the same time to start the flying sequence. Alright, there we go. Okay, so this is component. Let's go back over to S video. Oops, oh, I went too far. Okay, so this is component again in S video. So yeah, let's kind of look at some of the motion on here. So yeah, let's go back to component. Yeah, it just looks clearer overall on component, so. Yeah, it's amazing how clear this TV is. You can really tell that link's eyes are open. I remember back in the day on like the CRT that I had when I was a kid, I never noticed that link's eyes were open. But yeah, when you have high definition CRT, you can really tell a lot more. But yeah, it just isn't quite as defined on S video. So this is S video now. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to skip forward and get to the part where we go outside into the forest. Okay, yeah, so this is S video. Let's go ahead and run outside here. Yeah, it just kind of looks a little dark, I guess. A little, yeah. Yeah, the difference between, I feel like the difference between S video and component was a lot less pronounced on the SD CRT. Now that we're on the HD CRT, it's quite a bit more pronounced. So now let's go back over to component and do the sequence where we're going outside. Okay, so yeah, so the component, where's the component controller? Here it is. Okay, let's run outside with the component controller. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Okay. What I should have done is I should have named this one component and the other one S video. That would have been funny. Okay, so let's switch back over to the S video. So yeah, it's pretty similar. Let's do a close-up on Sardia's face. So here's S video. And here's component. So yeah, I'm kind of just saying the same thing over and over again now at this point. But basically, component is better on a HT CRT or an HT TV in general, whereas S video, switch back over to S video. S video is almost as good as component, but it really shines on an SD CRT. So yeah, I think that's so basically, I guess, for final thoughts. This was kind of what I expected going into this experiment, but now I have more proof for myself. I'm just going to kind of switch back and forth between S video and component while I'm talking. Yeah, just remember that video 6 is component and video 1 is S video. VHS is S video. But yeah, so yeah, if you have an SD CRT, yeah, definitely, S video is the way to go. Unless you happen to have a component, then yeah, use the component. You'll get slightly better colors. But yeah, S video is very good experience. Yeah, composite is acceptable and RF is acceptable, but S-video is definitely the biggest upgrade as far as analog video signals go. And then when we looked at RGB was also slightly better than S-video, but wasn't night and day difference, as we saw in the PVM. Let's see here. What else can I say about this? Oh, right. There was one other thing I wanted to mention. So there are VGA. The reason why I didn't mess with VGA stuff in this comparison is because VGA is just another form of RGB, just a specific protocol that goes over the D-sub cable, just commonly known as VGA, but it's still just RGB. So theoretically, VGA is probably the best analog signal you can get, because like the RGB that we were getting out of the Super Nintendo is RGBS, where it has so red, blue, green signals, and then there's a fourth signal that's the sync. So there's 4 lines coming out of it, and the sync signal includes the vertical sync and the horizontal sync. So it tells when to draw the new lines for horizontal, and then vertical when there's a 1 frame, so then it goes back to the top. So all that's in 1 line, which I think is fine for sync, but VGA actually divides the sync into its own lines, and so not only does it have separate lines for red, blue, and green, but it also has separate lines for RGB, for the sync. So the horizontal and the vertical sync signals are also separated. So that's like, whereas Composite combines all of everything, like all the color and all the sync signal into 1 line, VGA divides that into 5, and it's uncompressed. So yeah, VGA is pretty cool, but realistically, having that sync on the same line, you really don't have any problems with it. Like we didn't see any problems there. I mean, it's just sync, So, but yeah, theoretically, VGA is the best analog signal just because it separates the sync. But yeah, I mean, that really isn't that important. But anyway, realistically, as far as like color accuracy goes, VGA and RGBS, like what's coming out of the Super Nintendo, is the same, because yeah, the 3 colors are all separated. So, but yeah. So anyway, that's my reasoning as to why we didn't do specific stuff with VGA. Just because it's RGB still, and it's basically the same as RGBS. So, anyway, so yeah, so I guess if you're looking at analog signals, RF is the worst, then Composite, then S-video, then it goes to Component, and then RGB is the very best you can get. And there's different types of RGB, as I was saying. There's also sync on green, which actually combines the sync signal, so it goes over the green line, which I think is actually more inferior than RGBS or VGA. Yeah, because then you're actually messing with the color signal a bit. But maybe that'll be in comparison in another video. But so yeah, if you are looking at RGB signals, then yeah, go with VGA, because that's going to be your theoretically very best, but realistically RGBS, so RGB plus the sync signal is just fine. And I've done RGB with sync on green as well, and I thought that was fine too. So I mean, realistically, that was probably fine as well. But anyway, The point I'm trying to make, though, is that on an SD set, so just the final thoughts. On an SD set, realistically, S-Video is your best bang for your buck, where you're not breaking the bank, to get a PVM that accepts RGB, and you're still getting like a very, very good experience. Component and RGB are both better than S-Video, as we saw, but only slightly better on an SD set. Yeah, they're very, very close. So yeah, if you're just using Composite, upgrade S-Video. Yeah, but then if you are on an HD set like this one, then yeah, go with the highest resolution, I guess, that you can get. So Component, if you're using a consumer set from the United States, probably Component is your best option. Because yeah, you can see as I'm switching back and forth, Component the colors do pop out quite a bit more on Component compared to S-Video. So yeah, go with Component if you can on an HD set, even if it's not an HD CRT, just a regular. I guess a lot of newer TVs don't have Component inputs anymore, but if they do, yeah, go with that. Or you can get a zero lag Component to HDMI converter. Yeah, those are also a good option. I've heard. Haven't used one, but I've heard they're good. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. And yeah, make sure you comment and like and subscribe if you like these comparison videos and other videos that I do. And yeah, I guess we'll talk to you later. Go out and get yourself some S-Video cables. All right, see you later. Bye.